So can Jerusalem be Mystery Babylon? A lot of people think that Jerusalem is. I mean, the Bible links Jerusalem with Sodom and Gomorrah and even with Egypt. And so those negative terms often make people think that God has something against Israel. But we're going to find out what the Bible has to say coming up next. Hey everyone, this is Dana with the Wisdom Calls channel and What Your Pastor Never Told You.com, helping you to understand the Bible better so that you can have a better relationship with God. Welcome to Bible Study Today. Today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why Jerusalem cannot be Mystery Babylon. But before we do, I want to just highlight a couple of the reasons as to why many people think Jerusalem is Mystery Babylon. For one, the Bible talks about Mystery Babylon being drunk on the blood of the saints. And Jerusalem is responsible for killing the prophets as well as many Christians. So they see that as a parallel, and that's true. Also, Mystery Babylon is talked about as being a hub of many ethnicities coming together, and that's true of Jerusalem as well. But we have to look at the whole entire prophecy. There are many, many characteristics the Bible gives us into identifying who Mystery Babylon is. And one of the other characteristics that people think of is the 7 hills. Now, there are several cities throughout the world that have 7 hills, but Jerusalem happens to be one of them. And so they point to that and say that must be what the prophecy is speaking of as Jerusalem. But we're going to talk about what the Bible has to say right now. Number one reason why Mystery Babylon cannot be Jerusalem is that Mystery Babylon is very clearly a port city. There's huge economic trade going on in this port city, and Jerusalem just is not a port city. So that's the number one glaring reason as to why Jerusalem cannot be Mystery Babylon. The number 2 reason why Mystery Babylon is not Jerusalem is that Mystery Babylon is an economic superpower. And even though Israel is doing well with trade and different things like that, you don't think of Israel globally as being an economic superpower. We just don't see that. So that's another reason why Jerusalem can be ruled out as Mystery Babylon. The number 3 reason why Mystery Babylon is not Jerusalem, and this is one that we've mentioned before in our other videos about America and also about Rome, and if you haven't seen those videos, I'll put a link up here. You can watch those and find that out. But the number 3 reason why Jerusalem cannot be Mystery Babylon is that Mystery Babylon is actually involved in modern day slave trade. And we do not see that happening in Jerusalem. So that's another reason why Jerusalem cannot be Mystery Babylon. And I've got a bonus reason for you guys. And this reason is probably the most definitive reason as to why Jerusalem cannot be this symbolic Babylon, this personification of a city that is listed in Revelation 17 and 18. And that reason is that the future for Babylon is that it will not be inhabited anymore. And let's read what Revelation 18 has to say. Revelation 18, verse 21. Then a strong angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, "So will Babylon, the great city, be thrown down with violence and not be found any longer. And the sound of harpists and musicians and flute players and trumpeters will not be heard in you any longer. No craftsman of any craft will be found in you any longer, and the sound of a mill will not be heard in you any longer. And the light of a lamp will not shine in you any longer, and the voice of a bridegroom and bride will not be heard in you any longer. For your merchants were like the great men of the earth, because all the nations were deceived by your sorcery." So we see that in Babylon's case, the end result of Babylon is that she will be utterly desolate, like a millstone that is being dropped into the depths of the sea. So great will the overthrow be, and no longer will you hear harpists or musicians, brides or bridegrooms in the city any longer. But what is the future of Jerusalem? We know from the scriptures that the future of Jerusalem is that is where Christ is going to reign for 1,000 years before the coming of the new heaven and the new earth. So it's just, when you look at the futures of Jerusalem and the future of Mystery Babylon, they could not be more opposite. And I think this is the telltale characteristic that lets us know that Mystery Babylon is absolutely not Jerusalem. I'm super excited to be having Joel Richardson on the program. He's the author of several books, including When a Jew Rules the World, Mideast Beast, Mystery Babylon, among others. He also hosts the YouTube channel, The Underground. You guys are going to not want to miss this interview. I am super excited about it, and I've read his book. It's a fascinating book. It really talks about the history of the different theories behind Mystery Babylon throughout the church age, throughout the centuries, and he talks about why some things might be plausible and why other things are not. Really goes through in a systematic way of debunking some of these long-held ideas. And so I am super excited to have him come on our program and share with us about his latest book, Mystery Babylon. So tune into that. Make sure, if you guys haven't yet, to hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon down below, because then you will get push notifications as soon as we upload the new content. And we have exciting news for you guys as well. We're going to be starting doing Facebook live videos as well for you guys, and I will let you know in the future when those are going to be. But make sure, if you haven't yet, to go over to our Facebook channel. We've got a Facebook page dedicated to this channel called Wisdom Calls. You can go there, and that way you'll be notified when we start doing live videos on our Bible studies, and you can participate in the Bible studies with us. So lots of exciting things happening here at the Wisdom Calls channel and whatyourpastornevertoldyou.com. If you have not been over to the website, I highly recommend that you do it. I'm going to be putting a link there for new people coming to the website where you can sign up and actually claim a free video series that I've compiled for you about what your pastor never told you about the end times. And so I'm super excited to share with you what Jesus has to say about the end times. So thank you guys so much for joining us in our video today, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a blessed day.